Hey, Brandon here, and you are listening to episode 11 of the Channeling Source podcast. We have Kat here again today, and we have more questions that you guys submitted, some of you through the newsletter, my free newsletter, by the way. Uh, Sometimes I'll talk about newsletters, and people are like, is it paid or free? So I'm just letting you know it's free, and I didn't need to get into that. So, anyways, Kat, would you like to say anything before we get started with all this?
Hi, I'm Kat. If this is your first episode watching, I am dating Brandon, but I'm also in school to become a therapist. I do my own channeling and Reiki, and I love being here and being part of this. So thank you for submitting questions.
Awesome. So, a little bit more information before we begin. I am going to be going into full channel mode and channeling my spirit guides, the angels and source directly through me. So, I'll be stepping out of the way, jumping into full channel mode. They'll be channeling through information on the questions you guys submitted, potentially on a couple that Kat includes, as well as they are guided or as they feel called to include questions for this. And they may bring through some other information that's for the highest good for this crowd at this time, before or after we go through the questions and after they channel on the questions explicitly. And if you'd like a bit more information on my spirit guides and on some of the benefits of watching this or listening to this, the full channel mode, you can see that below in the show notes or the description, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, etc. And they're telling me to go through a bit of the benefits ahead of time in case you're newer here. So channeling, when you're watching or listening to channel content like this, it can raise your vibration. Of course, it can be like a healing session because there's an energetic transmission and frequency from source that facilitates whatever is for the highest good for the listener or viewer, so that can create shifts and changes for you. It can move energies, etc. It can facilitate upgrades and things like that that are for the highest good. It can also open your third eye and your channeling if you are meant to channel. So that could be right away, or that could be over time as you listen to more channeled content, whatever is right for you and wherever you are at when you're listening or watching. It can really get you into that frequency more and step you into your intuition if it's right. So, without further ado, I'm probably going to edit this so that it jumps right to them channeling through. And that way you don't have to watch me get all prepared and take the time to get into full channel mode. And I will. Well, I'll be channeling for you there. Welcome to today's episode. Whenever you are viewing or listening to this, it does not matter. You are finding this at the right time for you. And we have chosen the questions. We have guided Brandon through these questions explicitly so we can hit on the topics and the energies and even strike the nerves that need to be struck for this collective to shift things for the highest good and to elevate you. So, your soul signed up for this experience to watch us or listen to us, depending on the platform you are imbibing these messages on. And you are here for a reason. Whether you click away early on or you are here through the whole thing, you will get what you need from this experience and what you signed up for. And please keep in mind the energetics at play under the surface, and along with these words we are speaking through Brandon, for they are a potent part and aspect of channeling and of this podcast, at least in these episodes where we are channeling directly through him, that benefits you. And that is part of the reason you are here. So we are ready for the first question, Kat, when you are ready and prepared to provide us with it.
Okay, so the first question is Source is me, I am source and everything. That being the case, is it necessary to put protection around us, as in a protection bubble? And can you expand on what ideas are from a human construct versus what is necessary from a spiritual construct?
Well, there is a lot we could delve into on this based on the second part of your question. However, we will start here. Protection is not necessary. Is it, as a construct, as an idea, perhaps helpful to use some exercises for certain individuals who are in a certain place in their journey? Yes, if they have nothing better to utilize, or put in place. One of the more important things is boundaries. And we know some of you still do not like that word, or you might suspect it begets separation, which is not necessarily the case. We would recommend striving for and asking for healthy energetic boundaries before protection. The concept of protection can imply, oh, there's something out to get me. However, some people utilize that word protection instead of energetic boundaries. One of the more important things regarding this topic is getting yourself to the highest and best, highest vibrational, true perspective you can on the matter. Because there are many people who will sell you a low vibrational tale or a spun yarn, if you will, on how there are all these entities out to get you and all these things here to suck your blood, metaphorically, steal your energies. It's all baloney. There might be a few things you need to watch out for or be discerning regarding. Mostly what you need to watch out for are other humans, other people on the planet. The etheric is much safer than you think, and then you've been sold by many. And that is the lie many are dealing with, is the lie that the etheric can be very dangerous. It only appears dangerous from the earth perspective because you've been lied to. And because you have so many people who are afraid and are willing to dump that fear on each other, even if it is to protect themselves ostensibly or protect others. If it is a lie, it is not necessarily expansive or serving the person that the fear is being dumped on, no matter how well intentioned. So, how can you elevate your perspective to see more of what is true and to see what is true and what is not true in the words of others when they talk about protection, entities, fear based things like that? For most of the fear is a lie. You are an infinite being, you are unlimited. What would you have to fear when you are everything? As you said, in a way. However, if you are using things like divine protection as a form of energetic boundary, then it is definitely okay. If that serves you and keeps you from taking on other people's energies or junk, helps you to feel safe and secure for now, helps you to hold your space and fields, that is an excellent tool for now. And until you get to a more expansive and true place where you know you are good and you know you do not need those things, please incorporate what helps you and do not judge it. Where there are things that might not feel true to you as stories people weave. However, some of the tools that they hand you to help with those things actually help you in other ways or in ways you didn't see coming. So it's important not to judge these things or assume things based on any stories or presumptions or assumptions. Instead, ask what is for the highest good, what will be effective for me, what will help me. So we are not saying get rid of all energetic protections or exercises that you found helpful. We are asking you to get clear on what is true intuitively and ask what will help you and go with that, regardless of whether it makes sense to the logical mind. And that will cut to the core of the issue for many, maybe not all, though many of you listening. There's one more thing we'd like to say. You're going to have to follow your own intuition and knowing on this. That is the key regarding any exercise, regarding any energetic boundary, regarding protection, divine protection, anything like that. You will have to go on a case by case basis and ask, will this be effective for me? Is this true? Will this help me? And just go with the things that feel light to you, that are true for you, that you get are true for you. And that will set you free from the stance of, do I need protection? Do I not? Well, maybe you could ask, would this serve me to implement this for now? Is there a better way? Does this feel true to me? Ask questions like that. Where there are many structures and constructs that are false beliefs that are foisted on you because certain people don't realize any better in the moment. So you don't have to take that on. uncover what is true for you. And that is why we harp on owning your intuition, honing in your intuition, growing your knowing. Why we talk about this over and over again is because it will set you free and allow you to lead your own life regarding all of these topics all of the time. Instead of even having to ask us, nothing wrong with asking us anything, because you are helping others by asking these questions too. That is actually all we'd like to say on that. Thank you for your question. May we have the next one, please?
Yes. So the next one is, after already asking and intending for my spirit guides, angels, source, higher self, inner being to differentiate their voice tone, feeling sensation from my own thoughts and ideas, how can we better distinguish and clearly differentiate when we are channeling thoughts and ideas from spirit versus our own contemplation?
You will have to grow your awareness. We realize that's a simple answer. It is the key. And you may roll your eyes. You may think that is boring. You may think I have tried that. Well, you have not tried it all the way, because awareness is going to be the key. You will have to discern the energies of what your thoughts are like and what your channeling is like, what your intuition is like. What is it like when a claircognizant knowing happens? Can you take note of that? Maybe even write it down. When you had a moment and you got a knowing and it turned out to be accurate, then you had that moment again and you got a knowing and it turned out to be accurate, and you had that same feeling and that same knowing about something else again and it turned out to be accurate. Take note of that and follow that when that shows up, because you are becoming aware of when a claircognizant knowing strikes, if you will, or when that is happening. So it will be growing awareness over time that allows you to discern between the voice of your guides and your own thoughts. We will also urge you to consider, where energetically are those things coming from? Your thoughts will likely feel like they're coming from your own brain inside your head. The voice of your spirit guides energetically could appear to you to come from above you into your crown chakra, or up and to the left above your head, or to the left of you in your energy field. They can speak to you from any direction, any location. So ask them to speak to you from a certain location energetically, or to show you the one they will use for now, and allow that to expand and change, because it's not necessarily the only way it has to show up forever. So, our next question: how can you be more mindful? How can you be and get more present with what's showing up when you channel? And how can you practice and push through the confusing moments where you're not sure and show up the next day anyways to practice? Because the inkling of what we are saying will start to percolate. You'll start to notice the subtle differences. And as you notice them and keep practicing, they become less subtle and more in your face and a part of your knowing. It is like energetically discerning what is coming up in the future. You will ask, well, if I make this choice, what will it be like in 5 years? If I don't make this choice, what will it be like in 5 years? You get the energy of what it will be like. Not the thoughts, not the projections, not the judgments of what you think it will get you, the actual energy of what's there. So you step your ego out of the way, you ask the question, see what shows up energetically. It is much the same in some ways when it comes to discerning the voice of your spirit guides. And it would be for many of you tuning in. Some of you have different ways you work, and that's okay. Can you go with the crux of what we're saying and the gist? For example, you may begin to hear the voice of your spirit guides and you realize there's a certain energy to it, a certain flavor to it energetically, a certain lightness. It might feel like white light. Or maybe you'll have other signs that are shown to you, like specks of light in your physical vision. Perhaps, depending on your gifts, you might even smell certain things. Oh, it smells like flowers whenever I channel my spirit guides. It tastes like a certain essential oil or something else when I channel my spirit guides, and almost like a synergistic way. And those can be additional signs to grow your awareness around your channeling and intuition. Brandon would tell you when he channels angels or us, it has a particular flavor to the energy, a particular texture, a particular feeling energetically. That's different than if he were to channel his passed on grandfather. That mediumship has a different flavor to it than channeling the angels. He would get a different energy talking to his car than talking to his house, usually. Perhaps subtly, if you consider he's talking to the consciousness of those objects and the molecules that make them up and the space between the molecules. So you have to consider all your senses energetically when it comes to your channeling, to look at the hints of what is going on until the hints become a loud roar where you just know because you've done it so many times. You know the flavor. You know what it's like to get a message from your spirit guides. You know what it's like to get a clear, constant knowing. You know what it's like to get an intuitive visual and how that differs from daydreaming or something you're visualizing all on your own. It's a very different experience. You have to go on the journey to discern how it works for you and how it differs between those things for you and how it shows up for you so that you can know. That is what we will say. There's more we could say. What can you do to raise your vibration and engage and increase your energetic awareness? Is it a healing modality where you're working with subtle energies more? So you are growing your awareness around energy. Can you practice your intuition in various ways, whether it's with a pendulum, yes, no tool, body pendulum, perceiving the energies of different situations or choices you have, even pulling cards for yourself? Can you just keep practicing all the variations of your intuition that show up for you until you grow more discernment and awareness around them and know what it's like, where spirit will show you? You have set the intention by submitting this question. You have manifested it by submitting this question. And soon you will see the results through the years ahead if you keep going. And you will see the results. That is what we will say. Thank you for your question.
Okay. So the next one is if we can manifest anything we want by raising our vibration, inviting good energy, allowing improved emotions, feelings, moods, etc. Does that mean that taking antidepressants is a direct shortcut? Are people on antidepressants able to manifest desired results faster?
No. You are confusing your vibration with your feelings, thoughts, and emotions and beliefs. That is not your vibration. They can be part of what people will pick up regarding your vibration. They can be part of influencing your vibration. But your vibration incorporates all of you, the being you are, where you are at with your beliefs, but also the energies flowing through you. Are you attuned to Reiki? Do you allow divine energies to flow through you? Do you channel frequently? Your energies are so much more than your thoughts, beliefs, feelings. You can be a high vibrational individual who is having a bad day. You are still high vibe. You're just in a lower feeling, or you're going through something. Perhaps that feeling isn't even yours. That's a whole different story. And that would throw us off track to delve too far into that right now. However, if you think of the way you're considering it, which isn't the truth, we will be direct with you, so you do not go down this wrong track. Would not people who take a lot of recreational drugs have the best lives ever? And not all of them do. Many of them have chaos and many lower frequencies within them and around them. We would not say that drugs are the answer to your frequency. Healing, releasing trauma, getting to a clear place within yourself, working with high vibrational energies, working on your belief system so you come from knowing, spirit's perspective, source's perspective, instead of your own internal beliefs or the beliefs of everyone else around you, and working on your actual vibration of your energetic fields and all of your being to allow more of you in on a soul level and higher. That will raise your vibrations. So working on your gifts, things like that. Do you understand our points? Many people misidentify and misapply vibration for emotions. Emotions are just part of the picture. There's so much more to you and your fields. Please get that, because that will set you free. So many of you focus on feelings. I feel good. I feel bad. That does not mean your vibration. In fact, if you are always focused on feelings, you are lower vibrational than you could be. It might be better to be focused on knowing. So, for example, like we talked about earlier, this choice makes you lighter. That choice makes you heavier. Go with the choice that makes you lighter. If you're becoming lighter, you are raising your vibration. And drugs do not always make you lighter. So we are not saying this to denigrate medications. We are not saying you should or should not be on medications. And we are not saying medications raise or lower your vibration. They are pretty neutral for most cases in this circumstance. What you're going to have to shift if you'd like to manifest better is not just your mood, it's you. And we realize that takes a lot more work sometimes. Well, that's the key. If it were that easy, everyone would just be on drugs and having their dream life. So we would like to move on from this one. We believe we've made our case, and none of that was to beat up on you who submitted the question. We would like you to get your head in more of a aligned place with the truth of energy, maybe than what you have been sold regarding what vibration and energy is. So get out of judgments of this is vibration and ask what is vibration and what will it take for me to raise it, and let the universe show you and manifest it. And that will set you free beyond what you believe. So let's move on.
Okay, so let's see. The last question is any tips for getting over the resistance to putting yourself out there romantically? I can finally admit I want romance as part of my life again, but I feel the way you feel after you get over food sickness, but eating still makes you wary.
Well, we would say it is good that you recognize you would like this. That is healing in a sense, or a step towards it. You have more to do. You have some belief shifting regarding, oh, it's just going to be like this again. So we are going to point you once again to your energetic awareness because it will set you free. Here's what we mean. If you get really clear on your knowing and really clear on how to perceive the energies of what it is going to be like if you date someone or don't date someone, or you have your other gifts in, like channeling or knowing, or however it shows up for you, however it shows up for you is perfect. However, if you have the option in love and you sit with the energetic awareness of what it will be like, and it is spacious and light and freeing, even, or perhaps it feels abundant. Perhaps your body reacts on its own to the energy to show you what the energy is, and there's a lot of joy and expansion. That's a great person to date. That will make your life more expansive. However, you have to get out of judgment and attachment to a particular person or situation. Let us explain. Perhaps you have a judgment or story that, oh, I really only like and I get excited about people who look like this in this form of physical attractiveness. Okay, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can write that down on what you'd like to bring in. However, if all you do is follow the excitement that stems from the story and judgment of what you like about that and what that would give you, oh, my parents would approve of this. Oh, my friends would be jealous. Oh, whatever it is. That's not your knowing or awareness energetically of what that situation will bring. Your knowing is the energy of what is actually there. Many of you get this. You might be annoyed we're harping on this so much. Well, if more of you live from it, we won't have to harp on it. We'll be able to go to the next level and take you higher from there. So this is where we're at, and this is where we need to speak to right now. So please let us do our work we need to do, and we will move on at the right time. So working on your energetic awareness is a key to moving beyond the stuck place of fearing, is this going to turn out like the last one? We would also advise you to write down or take note of some of the signs of your last experience or last few that were so bad that left you with the bad taste in your mouth, so to speak. So you can identify when other people begin to replay them or give you the same energy or feel the same way in a way that accurately identifies, don't go this direction. And Source will have multiple signs for you. Perhaps they will say a line that's exactly the same and exactly the same way as one of the last people you dated, or maybe even the ex or boyfriend or girlfriend or partner of a friend who was awful to your friend. And you'll know, oh, they are like that person. Perhaps it is a facial feature that is assigned to you. And when they have that facial feature, it's like, oh, and perhaps you will recognize an energy with this. So you're reading this from multiple angles. Like, oh, this reminds me explicitly of this person, and that person wasn't so great. I'll pay attention to this. And if it's shown to you that that is indeed a sign and is accurate through the multiple ways and multiple iterations that shows up for you with different people, start listening. So let's get back to healing. Where in your belief system do you feel that the next person is going to be like the last? And give yourself some time to dig into this. Perhaps it's also time to book a session with a healer. Whoever resonates for you, could be in your local area or somewhere else, to begin to shift the energies around this and prepare yourself for it. And it's time to get very clear on what you'd like in love and what you would not like, and really get into those lists and really sit with that. Really take time with it. This is not a rush job. Even if you desperately would like something, it does not have to be a rush job that you'll regret 10 years later because you did the same thing all over again. So give yourself time and space to heal, book any sessions you need, reflect on the past, and grow your awareness so you make the best choices for you. And do not cut that off, even if you desperately would like something. That is what we will say. Then we could go a little bit deeper. And actually, we will, just for one moment. Take the next step. Take the next step in manifesting it. Take the next step in visualizing it every day and getting clear on what you would like the energies to be. Once you have your lists and things written down and ready to go, and get clear on what that energy is. So if you're inviting the optimal romance, take a second, get the energy of that. Or you can ask Source, what would it be like if I had the optimal love for me, the optimal love partner for me? What would that feel like energetically? And please be clear, it is an energy. So what would that be like energetically? And get that energy and sit in that. You can feel the joy, the expansion. And now, if you write down your list and it does not feel good, it is time to edit the list. You are either missing something or you need to take something on your list away so that it energetically is wonderful when you sit with it and expansive and light. And begin to ask questions. When you meet people, get the energy of what it would be like to date them. Does it match what you have written down on the list? When you would get the energy of what it would be like to be with that person or with the optimal romance. So someone who you consider dating, where you get the energy of what it would be like, and it's the same as what you have on your lists, or it's the same of what that optimal love situation would be like when you get that energy, that's potentially a good direction to go. And if it feels like the last love or some of the exes energetically, where it was heavier, or for some of you, perhaps you were abused or something like that, don't go there. That is what we will say. Trust your energy awareness.
Okay, I was muted. I do have a couple of questions. The first one is I can sometimes get into these moments where I just feel very vulnerable and like everyone can pick up on everything about me when I'm around them, particularly when I go to class for some reason. And I was sitting with it and I'm like, I don't know how energetically sensitive people in this class even are. I don't think that they're necessarily picking up on much of anything or even paying attention to me. Um, and I hope this applies to other people or some people find something in this, but I guess I'm just wondering like how based in reality is that feeling and what do people typically pick up on about us? And is it best to just kind of like let go of their perceptions and not really worry about it?
Absolutely, that last bit of letting go of their judgments and perceptions. In some ways, you are afraid, if you will, of judgment and what they will think. And you may be trying to protect yourself from reactions you've had in the past, even in childhood from other children or parents who might blanch at something you did or said, or where you had to keep yourself safe from other adults based on your behavior in some way, shape, or form. So, in some ways, it is a natural self defense mechanism. However, you are not as vulnerable as you suspect. And there are a couple topics we wish to dig into on this one for you and for those listening. One, you are picking up on them. That is them feeling vulnerable, or someone in the class feeling vulnerable, or a professor in the class feeling vulnerable. You are aware of it. You pick up on that and ping it as your own. So you're like, oh, I feel like everyone is seeing right through me. I hope they don't know this deep, dark secret or this thing. And the other thing we'll say is, so what if they did? What would that change? For there are many perceptive people who can see through all others, or many things about others, and it really doesn't change anything. If you get more okay with receiving that judgment and being an allowance of it, you set yourself free because you're not trying to curtail to, kowtow to, acquiesce to everyone else regarding what they're perceiving about you. And the other thing is, you are where you are at, anyways, whether they notice it or not. Many people around you in that situation are not as perceptive as you may suspect. Like we said, you are picking up on some of them and how they feel. There are a few that are, however, they do not judge as much. Most people who are perceptive like that, they can see the truth behind why someone is behaving a certain way, acting a certain way, thinking a certain way, feeling a certain way. So they will not be as judgmental, if judgmental at all, because they can see through things more. So you do not need to fear those who see through you, no matter how you might judge yourself. And that is the key. How are you judging yourself? Where you are afraid of what others are perceiving of you. And also, what if they perceive the greatness of you? And some of you might shy away from that as well, or even more than seeing the deep, dark secrets that you hold. Some of you are not willing to be regarded as great, or as light, or as expansive as you can be. And that puts you on hold in your world. The second you step into greatness is, oh, I will be perceived. I will have to deal with people's bullshit. I will have to deal with other people. Don't know what will they think, what will they judge, what will they project. Well, it's time to make those things irrelevant to you. So how can you heal so you do not care what they think, or so you can see through them seeing through you, or them projecting, or them judging, whatever it is? So you are not the effect of it. And also, how can you heal those areas that are sensitive and trying to protect you at all costs so that you are okay with being vulnerable? Because what if that allows the greatest connection of your world yet with someone, a friend, a lover, someone else that could go really deep and be really beautiful if you will allow it? That is what we will say so far on that. There's so much more we could dig into. However, we wish to remind you, even if they could see through you, and there are many perhaps who can, their judgments are irrelevant. And if they see the truth of you, that is a beautiful thing. And their reaction, their thoughts, their judgments, that is on them, their choices, and where they're at, and has nothing to do with you or the truth of you from there. And the people who could see you perfectly clearly, the people who see all, they do not judge in the first place. But they may see your judgments of yourself, and that is a different story. We will leave it there. Otherwise, we could go on and on and on. But do you understand?
Mhm. Yeah. Yes. No, I do. And it totally makes sense. Because today in class, I started out feeling really vulnerable, like you said. And then I started doing some energetic work in class of like setting those energetic boundaries, like you were talking about earlier. And it did shift it. Like I did end up feeling much more confident and much more secure.
And that's more the true you, the
Mm,
confidence, the secure, the feeling good in your body. The other stuff is other people's junk,
mm,
at
yeah.
least for the most part.
It's so interesting how personal it can feel, like when you take it on. But
Well, that's the twist. You are so aware you think it is yours, and you have to train yourself to realize it's not. And you could do that by asking questions. You could borrow from access consciousness. Who does this belong to? You could just hone your awareness to the degree where you're like, oh, I realize that is not mine. But many of you listening, you trip yourselves up because you think everything is yours. And perhaps even half of it or all of it is not.
Yeah.
So the tools you could use to get free of that, we would encourage you to implement those, whatever works for you. Energetic boundaries, shielding your aura, access consciousness. We do not care so long as it works for you. So do not judge it. Do not see it as right or wrong, or I have to do this, or I have to not do this, or I have to choose for this person or against this person, or I have to use this modality at all costs, no matter what. No, what will work, use it, be grateful for it, and allow your world to expand so you can see all that's possible and choose the best life for you, moment to moment.
Okay. And then a second part that just came up is today in class, we were talking about a concept called evil eye. Um, and it reminded me of it when you were talking about us not like owning our success all the way. And I was just wondering if there's any reality to that. If like, do we need to care at all about other people's, I don't know, like throwing things at us energetically if we do like own our power and own our success and all of that?
No,
Okay. Yeah.
that is a fallacy, and that is something you have to buy into for it to affect you. And many of you want to believe in evil eye because you've made it so real and you've made it such a focal point of your reality, or at least a few of you we are talking to right now. But you don't have to make it real. If you believe it, if you buy into it, if you take that as your point of view, yes, evil eye can affect me. I must be afraid, or else. Then you will be affected by it more. And you can set intentions and do things for divine protection and things like that in the meantime. If you are newer to this concept, oh, it doesn't have to be real. Oh, interesting. It's a human made projection, it's a human made construct. And it came from many people believing in fear based things. But if you don't take the point of view, it can hurt you. You will be well on your way to being free of it. So do what you need to do for now. We will not judge you or think you're bad or wrong if you ask for protection from evil eye or ask Archangel Michael to help you, etc. We would advise you to ask what else could be true, because a lot of those things are made up. Spiritual warfare, not true. Ooh, that's going to rustle some jimmies. That was the core of your belief system, and now it's gone, shattered. What will you believe? Who will you be if you do not have that belief? Well, you were never the belief in the first place. The belief was something you held in place with judgments, assumptions, and things you bought from other people, points of view. What if you don't have to believe anything? What if you can just know with your intuition, energetic awareness, divine guidance? What if you can be connected to source and just know instead of buying all these beliefs from other people who don't necessarily have your best interest at heart? They'll sell you evil eye if it will make them money. Look at all the YouTube videos. Banish evil eye, get rid of evil eye. Look at all the views. Look at how they prey on people's fear. And some of them think they're doing a good thing legitimately, and some of them are. Some of it is legitimately shifting things for people, maybe just not in a way they suspect or intend. However, if you are an infinite being, which you are, would you be affected by evil eye? No. So why would you choose that? Why would you make that your reality? If you were an infinite being, which you are, could someone else's intention just take away your abundance? Absolutely not. So you have to consider, what else is true then? What's a better reality for me? What would shift this? So I'm no longer affected by what I've considered to be evil eye so far. So be wary of what you buy and choose a greater reality. And if you find yourself being affected by something, okay, one needs to shift. What's right about that? What is true? What can you put in place to help you in the meantime? We're not saying to ignore what's showing up or what seems to be affecting you. We are saying it's not evil eye. Do you have any further questions for us or things you wish for us to clarify before we begin to part ways or deliver additional messages for this crowd?
Yeah, I do have one final question. I have been noticing that I can fall into more of like a depressed mood. And I've struggled with depression like on and off throughout my life, but lately it's like at least like 1 or 2 days out of the week, I tend to fall into that. Um, and I was wondering, is it partially that I've just become like habituated to it, that I'm just like used to being in that state, that I kind of just like pendulum swing back to it? Or is it more that I'm just like still actively healing?
It is more the second that you are still just actively healing and releasing old patterns, old memories from the body. Sometimes things do come up in the body before you release them. And it's tempting to judge them as I'm going back to that old place. And that's when, if you're not careful, you could lock it in by buying that. Most of you won't, even if you do. You might just freak out for a second and then it leaves. However, you are releasing depression from your body. We would also urge you to take a look at the cycles in your body. We would urge you to look into, well, how is your hormone balance? How are your bodily functions? Do you need to get that checked out or see a doctor or a professional on those things? You need to get that checked out and check with your intuition as well, for you are an intuitive being and you are honed in with that. So you can check in and see if that feels true for you or what needs to shift there. However, in many ways, you are releasing even past lifetimes that you brought with you certain energies to be cleared because you knew you could do it this one. You knew you could overcome it. You knew you had the tools. You knew you had the things you needed or would to shift things. We would also say, how can you bring more energies from the higher divine realms into your daily life to begin clearing it faster in an ease filled way? The more you are channeling, the more you are connecting, the more you are healing in all ways you can think, the faster it will clear and the faster you will be able to regulate things, because you'll also be including things from your divine guidance that will assist your body in shifting the emotion. We will also ask, have you tried talking to your body about it? Or talking to your energy fields about it, perhaps even in a shamanic way, or talking to the consciousness of your body to see what they would like to tell you about it, or they might point you in a different direction than you considered about it, that you never would have even thought that would help you to shift the circumstance, in addition to any professional help you might seek, if that is what you choose. And we are not here to dissuade you from doctors or other professional services. We might even have to give a disclaimer for Brandon so there is no legal trouble down the road. And we have his back. We are not going to purport something that would get him into legal trouble, per se. And sometimes that is even why we do not choose certain questions for this podcast. Ooh, this would go down a road. It's probably better. He does not channel on this. We have his back. For those of you worried. However, that is what we will say for you for starters. You are a beautiful being, and you bring so much good and light to this world. And in a sense, you belong here, even if you do not fit in. And that is part of the joy of you. And that is part of why you are dating Brandon, even, is you do not fit in with the normal crowd. And he never did. And newsflash, you probably never will, this lifetime or the next, because you're meant to stand out and be different. And that brings a gift to the world, if you will allow it. And will receive you being that. And will be the light that you be. Do you have anything further for us?
Thank you. No, that is all I have.
Okay. We would talk. We would like to talk about transformation for this crowd. Dragonfly symbolism is something that may show up for you in your world or occur for you. And we are showing Brandon dragonflies. as we roll through this to give you imagery to go along with this, for that is the transformation that is occurring. Rapid. Dragonflies, when they are little nymphs, at a certain point, they crawl out onto a stem, and after years of being their small form, they rapidly transform in the span of hours into a entirely different creature physically and even energetically in some ways. They rapidly transform. They evolve into a new form. And many of you in this collective tuning into this, you are going through that. You are going through the rapid shift. So can you not judge yourself as things change rapidly in you, for you, around you? And can you receive it and allow it with ease and ask for that? If you are not sure how, universe, show me how to allow the change and transformation and evolution with ease around me, in me, through me. Thank you so much. For as you transform, as above, so below, you are transforming the collective and you are playing your puzzle piece perfectly when you allow things to shift for you in a way that correlates with the world and allows the world to become greater and expand. So your role here is important in a way as you transform, even if it is just working on you, even if it is just getting happier. So it could be a great outer shift, such as a job or business that pays you a lot of money, and then you're able to expand into a lighter place from there and contribute to the world and others financially. Even just getting happier, however, more joyful, having more peace, more lightness. That brings more happiness to the world, more joy to the world, more peace to the world, more lightness to the world, for you are a part of everything. And you are part of the equation that is everything. So as you change you, the puzzle piece you are, the image on the puzzle piece you are, the equation part you are in the equation of everything, you shift all. Remember that, for you are key to this planetary shift, consciousness wise, that has been going on for some time. And that is why you are here, at least partly, for many here. You are here to ascend and bring the world higher, not to bring in projections, assumptions, projections, judgments, etc., on what ascension is. That many people have actually brought before checking in with their intuition or divine guidance on the topic. However, that is not something we're here to speak on. Ascension is just happening. We would say focus on your personal world and making it greater. And that would play enough of a part for now, in addition to anything else you are divinely guided to do. If you have a specific mission with it, if it's important to you, you will be guided to it. So do not judge for now. Allow the transformation, however it shows up for you, and ask for greater. Ask for more and receive greater. Receive more. For again, as you have more, it opens the door for the highest good for everyone else to have more, and it brings more to the world. So, how can you become greater with your choices and actions going forward from here? What comes to you intuitively? And if nothing does, consider the question. Put it out to the universe every day. How can I be greater? How can my life be greater? How can I contribute to the world being greater? If that is for the highest good for me to ask, see what shows up. It may just manifest. That's actually all we wish to say for this crowd. Allow the transformation and do not judge it. Do not judge the shifts you go through. Do not judge the ascension you go through. And you will be in a greater place with ease or more ease if you will not lock it in with judgment. That is it. We are signing out for now with a PS. We ask for you to go bigger in your lives, in an area that matters to you, your heart, and your soul, even personally. Again, even if it is just joy, what would bring you bigger joy? What small choice could you make to have bigger joy every day? What big choice could you make to have joy in your life next week, next month, in the future? And we don't mean it as a short-sighted thing, though it is okay if it is just for now, sometimes, so long as it does not totally tank your future. What would bring you joy now and in the future? So as you go big on your dreams, on your joy, on your peace, on what you'd like to bring in, big or small. As you go bigger for you, whatever that is, again, you are expanding things for everyone. And sometimes some of you hold off on abundance, on money, on going big because you're afraid to play big or you think it will negatively impact others. Guess what? Others allow things to impact them negatively all the time that never needed to. And that is actually, unless you are blatantly going to bludgeon people over the head or harm others, mostly their stuff to deal with or to figure out how to set boundaries with or to figure out how to approach differently. Going big for you does not necessarily hurt anyone unless you're intending to harm others. It actually expands everything. So don't be afraid regarding that. We wish you well. We wish you peace. We wish you expansion. We wish you ease with transformation. We are wishing you an ease filled path ahead for the highest good. Take care and farewell. We sign out now regarding this full channel mode session, the Angelic Collective of Xorbítal and Source. Take care of you. Farewell. Okay. How are you doing, guys? Give me 1 second to come back from that one. I hope that was helpful for you guys. I'll just say, Kat, how was that on your end? How are we looking?
Yeah, I thought that was really well.
Cool.
A lot of good information. I'm excited to listen to it again.
Cool. Me too. Uh, Sometimes when I listen to it, it's almost like the first time I'm listening to it. Other times, well, it depends on how much I remember while we were rolling through it. So if for those of you tuning in who watched, who listened, I hope this was good to you. And should it be in the highest good of service for the highest good, I really hope this contributed to you and your world being greater, potentially now and going forward. And if there were pieces of information you didn't get or that didn't make sense for some of you, or maybe even most of you, maybe let it percolate. See what shows up over the next week or month, or maybe you'll watch another video from someone else and they'll say something, it gets something to click into place. But try not to judge the information straight away. Just sit with, what did they mean by that? Or how might that be true? Or how does that apply to me? Or different things like that. Sorry, they're kind of correcting me as I started saying that. And they're like, well, it was true. So, okay, angels, it was true. And either way, again, I hope that contributed to you. If you'd ever like to go further with my work, you can find my website below in the show notes or the description, brandonhbloom.com, for one-on-one channeled intuitive readings, channeled guided meditations. Well, yeah, and channeled MP3s are also in the store if you're interested in that as well for more like full channel mode content. And I have a lot more of that in my membership. That's the monthly membership, the Let's Go Higher membership. So you can find more from me that way, as well as a ton of other stuff if you go to brandonhbloom.com, and below you artcrystals.com is my other business you can also take a look at if crystals or channeled energy healing symbols with channeled and intuitive art is something that calls to you at all. So, Kat, is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign out for this one?
I'll just add really quick too, for anyone who feels called to it, the Step Out and Shine audio bundle that just released. I did it myself a little bit ago, and it's one that I've like am still thinking about and am recognizing the shifts that it's created in me. So I think definitely like during this time of heightened transformation, it can be a really big asset if you feel like it's right for you. So well, that's all.
Cool. I really appreciate that. And I really love hearing about, well, from you, how it shifts you, and also from anyone else who sends feedback, how it shifted things for them. So thank you for taking a second to mention that specifically and plug that, I guess. I appreciate it. And all right, for the rest of you, I'm wishing you well. If you'd ever like to contribute to the podcast, additionally, You can also submit a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Those just help the show to grow and find more people if it feels authentic to you. If it doesn't feel at the right time, don't feel pressure on it, you know? And same with comments, likes, subscriptions on YouTube, not to be that guy. It does actually help the video on the algorithm and helps it to grow at the right time and potentially find more people. And again, if you don't feel called to, that's okay. Maybe you're not the person this time that's there to expand that. And, you know, I also know it'll grow in the optimal divine timing for it. And there's no reason for me to force it. So, anyways, I'm going to just sit here and keep talking if I don't start to close this one out soon. So, thank you guys so much for listening or watching. And I will see you in another episode of the Channeling Source podcast.
Great. Bye, everyone.